Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. But let me tell you something. Creating yourself, becoming the person you want to be, achieving your dreams. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. It's going to be painful. And that's exactly why you need to do it. You see, most people in this world looking for the easy way out. They're looking for shortcuts, for magic pills, for get-rich-quick schemes. They want success without sacrifice, achievement without effort, and results without responsibility. But I'm here to tell you, that's not how it works. Not in this life, not in this world. If you want to be successful, if you want to be extraordinary, if you want to leave your mark on this world, you're going to have to force yourself to suffer. Now, I know what you're thinking. Suffer? Why would I want to suffer? I thought this was supposed to be motivational. Well, let me explain. When I say suffer, I don't mean you should go out and intentionally hurt yourself. I'm not talking about physical pain or self-harm. What I'm talking about is the kind of suffering that comes from pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. The kind of suffering that comes from doing the things you don't want to do, but know you should do. It's the suffering of waking up at 5 a.m. when your body is begging for more sleep. It's the suffering of hitting the gym when every fiber of your being wants to stay on the couch. It's the suffering of saying no to that piece of cake when your taste buds are screaming yes. It's the suffering of sitting down to work on your business when your friends are out having fun. And this kind of suffering is what separates the successful from the unsuccessful, the extraordinary from the ordinary, the achievers from the dreamers. You see, success is not about avoiding pain. It's about embracing it. It's about understanding that growth and comfort cannot coexist. It's about realizing that every time you choose the easy option, you're robbing yourself of an opportunity to grow. Let me give you an example. Back in my day, I knew a young man who wanted to start his own business. He had a great idea, he had the skills, but there was one problem. He was afraid of failure. He was comfortable in his 9-to-5 job, and the thought of stepping out into the unknown terrified him. For months, he talked about his business idea. He made plans, he dreamed big dreams, but he never took action. Why? Because taking action meant facing his fears. It meant risking failure. It meant suffering through uncertainty and doubt. One day I sat him down, told him, son, you've got to force yourself to suffer. You've got to be willing to fail. You've got to be willing to look foolish. You've got to be willing to struggle. Because if you're not willing to do these things, you'll never achieve your dreams. It took some time, but eventually, he took the leap. He quit his job and started his business. And let me tell you, it wasn't easy. There were days when he questioned his decision. There were nights when he couldn't sleep because of worry. There were moments when he thought about giving up. But he persevered. He forced himself to suffer through the hard times. He pushed through the doubt, the fear, and the uncertainty. And you know what? After a few years of struggle, his business took off. Today, he's more successful than he ever imagined he could be. Now, I'm not telling you this story to make you think that success is guaranteed if you're willing to suffer. It's not. But what I am telling you is that if you're not willing to suffer, failure is guaranteed. You see, suffering, the right kind of suffering, is the price of admission for success. It's the toll you have to pay on the road to achievement. It's the fire that forges your character and shapes your destiny. Think about it. Every great achievement in history came at the cost of great suffering. The Wright brothers didn't invent the airplane by sitting on their couch. They suffered through countless failures, crashes, and setbacks. Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb on his first try. He suffered through thousands of failed attempts before he succeeded. And it's not just in the world of invention and business. Think about great athletes. Do you think they became great by taking it easy? No. They forced themselves to suffer through grueling training sessions, strict diets, and painful defeats. Think about great artists. Do you think they created masterpieces by waiting for inspiration to strike? No. They forced themselves to suffer through creative blocks, criticism, and self-doubt. The truth is, anything worth achieving in this life requires suffering. And the sooner you accept this truth, the sooner you can start on your path to success. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. But Jim, I don't want to suffer. Well, let me tell you something. True happiness doesn't come from avoiding suffering. It comes from overcoming it. It comes from looking back at the challenges you faced, the obstacles you've overcome, and knowing that you have the strength and courage to push through. There's a satisfaction, a deep sense of fulfillment that comes from knowing you've done something difficult. It's a feeling that can't be matched by any easy victory or quick fix. But here's the catch. You've got to choose your suffering. You've got to be intentional about it. You've got to force yourself into it. You see, life is going to make you suffer one way or another. That's just the nature of existence. But you have a choice. You can either suffer the pain of discipline or suffer the pain of regret. You can suffer through the challenges of pursuing your dreams, or you can suffer through the emptiness of a life unlived. One type of suffering leads to growth, achievement, and fulfillment. The other leads to stagnation, mediocrity, and disappointment. The choice is yours. So how do you force yourself to suffer in a way that leads to success? Let me give you a few strategies. First, set big, audacious goals for yourself. Goals that scare you. Goals that make you think, I don't know if I can do that. Because here's the thing, if your goals don't scare you, they're not big enough. If you can easily see the path to achieving your goals, you're not dreaming big enough. Big goals force you to grow. They force you to become more than you are. They force you to suffer through the process of becoming the person capable of achieving those goals. Second, develop daily disciplines. Force yourself to do the things you know you should do, even when you don't feel like doing them. Wake up early. Exercise regularly. Read books that challenge your thinking. Work on your skills every single day. These daily disciplines might seem small, but they add up over time. They're like compound interest for your life. And let me tell you, they're not always easy. There will be days when you don't want to get out of bed. There will be days when you'd rather watch TV than read a book. There will be days when you'd rather eat junk food than stick to your diet. But these are the moments that define you. These are the moments when you have to force yourself to suffer through the discomfort, knowing that on the other side of that discomfort is growth. Third, face your fears head on. Whatever it is that scares you. Public speaking, starting a business, asking someone out on a date. Force yourself to do it. Fear is often a compass pointing towards the areas where we need to grow the most. I remember a time when I was terrified of public speaking. The thought of standing in front of a crowd made my palms sweat and my heart race. But I knew that if I wanted to make a bigger impact in the world, I had to overcome this fear. So I forced myself to suffer through the discomfort. I joined a public speaking club. I volunteered to give presentations whenever I could. And let me tell you, those first few speeches were painful. I stumbled over my words. I forgot what I wanted to say. I felt like a fool, but I kept at it. I kept forcing myself in those uncomfortable situations. And you know what? Over time, it got easier. The fear didn't disappear completely, but it became manageable. And more importantly, I grew. I became a better communicator. I became more confident. I became capable of influencing more people and making a bigger impact. That's the power of forcing yourself to suffer through your fears. It's not just about overcoming the fear itself. It's about who you become in the process. Fourth, embrace failure. Now, I know that sounds counterintuitive. We're taught from a young age to avoid failure at all costs. But here's the truth. Failure is one of the best teachers you'll ever have. Every failure is an opportunity to learn. Every setback is a chance to come back stronger. Every mistake is a lesson in disguise. But here's the thing. You've got to be willing to suffer through the pain of failure. You've got to be willing to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and try again and again. I've failed more times than I can count. I've had business ventures that didn't work out. I've made investments that went south. I've said the wrong things and made poor decisions. But each of those failures taught me something. Each of those setbacks made me stronger. Each of those mistakes helped me grow. And I'll tell you this, I wouldn't trade those failures for anything. Because without them, I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't have the knowledge, the experience, the resilience that I have now. So don't shy away from failure. Force yourself to suffer through it. Embrace it as a necessary part of your journey to success. Fifth, surround yourself with people who will push you. It's been said that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So choose those people wisely. Seek out friends, mentors, colleagues who will challenge you. People who will call you out when you're making excuses. People who will push you to be better. These relationships might not always be comfortable. In fact, they might often be uncomfortable. But that discomfort is a sign of growth. It's a sign that you're being pushed beyond your current limits.